between Eunos and Alucard2004 is about to begin. Well, the chest is a secret to everybody, but in about 5 seconds, we're going to find out what's in it. And, well, okay.
Wow. Good call. Very good call.
Well, in that case, tonight's lottery numbers are 431.
I don't think I'll be doing the lottery personally, but if I were, I would definitely do those.
So what could we say about the escape that's any different than it's been the other 180 times we've had it during the course of this tournament?
There is a 5% chance or 6% chance that they will not find bombs if they see every item from the prize packs there are 2 prize packs in the original set of sprites that they're going to be going through. And it's a very low chance, but if it happens, then we're almost assuredly going to see them come back or come back later when they have the power gloves.
How many of these races have we had so far where they've actually had to double back?
I think I want to say only like 2 that I've personally seen, and I've watched a lot because this has been the most hyped tournament I've partaken in a long time. It's just wonderful to see everyone playing this game again.
It's been also amazing to see how many people are actually joining the Saturday weeklies.
Oh yeah. It's got some fun new changes there too.
3 p.m. Saturday Eastern Time, if anyone's interested in joining. Plug, hint, hint.
So Eunos is deciding to take some extra time and kill a few extra sprites, while Alucard is just going to go ahead and keep running the path and find
There's some bombs.
Yep. So I think from here on out, we're going to see the runners just beeline it to pick up Zelda and head straight to the end of Escape. So, did you do the predictions portion of the randomizer tournament page?
Yes, I did, and I can't remember who I picked to win this matchup.
Well, we know both of them are going to win. It's going to be an amazing tie 3 games in a row. That would be no. Anyone that's watching should absolutely go and put some picks in. They should go in there and list who they want to who they think's going to win this. I know the biggest problem is one side of the bracket, namely this side of the bracket, is just chock full of so many great players. I don't even know who to pick.
I do know Eunos better be careful, otherwise he's going to go back to the start of this castle. Well, there he goes. He goes for the heart refills.
Playing it safe, much better idea. The 8-slash technique is technically the fastest technique to killing the ball and chain guard, but if you miss any one of those slashes, it becomes slower than doing a pot and 4 slashes, which is the second fastest. And the slowest by far being the slowest of the 3 options would be 2 pots, and then the worst one is just dirtling around and taking your time killing him.
Well, the slowest option of all is just taking a death to the ball and chain guy and having to do it all over again.
That is fair. So are you looking forward to any particular trolls this game, or are you expecting anything exciting otherwise?
I'd like to see the kind of trolls that put these guys to the limit, see how well they can route, put their mental capacity to the test, and something evil like having to go through a pendant dungeon, taking a risk like you mentioned before. Alucard likes to take some risks. I'd like to see some of those come into play here. Absolutely. Perhaps an early play towards a pendant dungeon that really doesn't seem like it's in the way, maybe clearing out Hera if they have access to it, kind of thing. Absolutely, something like that. Of course, I would absolutely love to be on call for a pedestal required seed, but we had one of those yesterday. I know that ain't going to happen tonight. That's not necessarily true. Randomness works in interesting ways. I got lucky in calling what was in the first chest. I ain't going to get lucky twice in one seed. Again, we'll say that randomness can certainly play into that.
Our runners are gonna pick up enough rupees to hopefully get the bottle vendor when they get there. Eunos is definitely on track for that.
I do want to point out here that because somebody mentioned it in chat, booking pedestal is not something that can be done in this version.
That is correct. The newer version allows the book to be inside of the pedestal or past it. If, like, say, the book is hammer locked and the hammer can be in pedestal.
I also want to point out something that Eunos is doing with his, he's got a chroma key in play for that light blue color. So you're going to be seeing that come into play anytime he comes across a water layer. It's going to show up a watermark.
A most beautiful watermark. I approve.
So far, not really all that much going on here. Escape, although these guys have enough bombs in their arsenal to get through Kakariko Village as well as the South Shore.
Absolutely. Although I would love seeing Alucard maybe, or Eunos, either one of them taking a chance and just not going for Kakariko initially.
Unfortunately, with 116 and 101 rupees, very unlikely to see either change up the route.
That is fair. That's fair.
Ooh, Alucard getting a nice little discussion here with the Sanctuary, the priest, and finds 20 rupees. Although Eunos is doing it.
He's going for the challenge.
Is Eunos listening to? Oh no. Okay, he just went back to the Sanctuary. Oh, what is Eunos doing to us here?
I think he wanted to do the different move, but accidentally switched to Sanctuary, like hit down.
Okay, so here we go. Route divergence between these two. They'll make up for it when they get to the little leader port. And nice pull from the tree there, 80 rupees.
Yeah, that would be the mid-tier pack, which is solid.
So for people who are not understanding how the tree pulls work, how do they work?
So if you go up to a tree and pull on it without killing any enemies, you get no prize. If you kill one enemy and pull on it, you will get the low tier prize, which in the vanilla game is single rupees. The one with the green rupees, but 4 of them. You always get 4 of them that fly out of there. The second tier pack, you have to kill at least 4 things and take damage. And that would generally be the 5 rupees or the blue rupees. And then finally, if you kill more than 4 enemies, well, 4 enemies or more, and take no damage, you'll get the highest tier, which is the 80 rupees that we saw there in total. The 20 rupee, or 2 hams, as some people call them.
I do want to point out that Alucard did look at the map. I didn't get a chance to see what things were because I was trying to get clear up a notification at that point. Eunos did find 300 rupees. Alucard did find the flute inside the Lost Woods. And now that's going to make things a little easier here for Alucard because now he's got a way up to Death Mountain. Plus, he can activate the duck coming out of town.
Yeah, that's certainly going to work out for it. But if Eunos ends up finding a bottle, it could pay off for him too if he then goes to Sanctuary and runs his route.
He does find Zelda.
Wow.
So the light world hype cave turning out to be good for a bow. There's the bottle on Alucard's end, so it is right in the town.
Well, looks like he has everything going for him here.
All he needs now is the boots, and he can full clear Kakariko Village.
And looks like Eunos is looking to pick up those 4 remaining rupees before he probably going to do end this route with movement towards Zora. Unfortunately, the little squid guys, the octopuses, don't drop anything.
Couldn't we just make them drop something just for Eunos' sake?
That would be nice. If he had a way to stun enemies, the stun prize pack is always a single rupee.
Which we saw in Dark Magician's End when he needed rupees to get to Zora before. And more bottles in Kakariko Village.
Alucard's just swimming in bottles.
And the silver arrows.
Wow. That is great. It's really great early game, especially since we know he's going to be picking up the bow when he heads around Lake Hylia Village, or around Lake Hylia. Silver arrows with the bow allow you to kill so many bosses very, very quickly.
And also, Eunos did pick up the rupees needed inside the Ice Rod Cave to be able to make the trip to Zora now.
And since he's doing interesting strats, I could see him totally going for, that's a really interesting lineup. Going all the way to the bottom of the screen to line up for Fake Flippers. I could see him going straight for Zora instead of checking the hobo.
He's heading up to the island, sees 20 rupees, and now turns away, and Alucard activating the swag duck. Eunos just have to be careful because the crabs here can kill him in one hit.
Interesting side note, if Eunos happened to have the Moon Pearl, he could have walked into the fairy waterfall there, or swam into it with Fake Flippers, and then when you exit it, and only if you have Moon Pearl in it or in Fake Flippers, would he be able to what is known as Jesus Walk, which means he can just walk on top of the water.
I do want to point out that Alucard got the Tempered Sword from the sick kid.
Oh, that's solid. That's also bad news to bears if they are thinking Aghanim is going to be required.
Ooh, the Titan's Mitt from the Zora.
Ooh, that is an insane sequence break from Eunos. So theoretically, the game assumes that you're either going to have flippers or you're going to need to get mitts to get to that Zora item.
Now, Alucard now making his way to the South Shore. Will he decide to go ahead and get the rupees to Fake Flipper now that he found the 300 rupees inside the swamp chest?
I have a feeling that he's going to go for the hobo, but with the flute already activated, it's not hard for him to come back and then do a second Fake Flipper up to Zora.
Now, Eunos making the interesting decision not to go up into the Lost Woods, which he might think it's not a bad idea here, but we do know the flute in play here definitely would make transportation a little easier for him.
Most certainly.
And Eunos grabbing the bottle here, and we'll be happy to find that. He'll be able to get the Tempered Sword pretty soon. And Alucard now coming up to the Light World Hype Cave, where he soon will be finding the bow to go with his silver arrows.
I think he's gonna flute hop over to 8, or maybe he's going to go straight up to Death Mountain would be my ideal choice at this point. There are 2 good items on top of Death Mountain usually. And no, looks like he's going for the just hopping over here to check out Ice Cave and probably hobo then.
Yeah, it's something we didn't see on Eunos' end as he's about to pick up the silver arrows to go with his bow. So both guys with interesting finds early on.
Most certainly, but they're about to hit parity, except for Alucard will not have the Titan's Mitt more than likely.
And right now, the Titan's Mitt doesn't really matter that much. If Eunos finds the Moon Pearl, though, that could become interesting.
Both the Moon Pearl or the boots would be another thing. Or Hook Shot, because without it, since he seems to be okay with sequence breaking, he can get the 2 chests in Dark World Death Mountain. Alucard decides to skip past doing any fake flippering entirely and going straight up to Death Mountain. Again, the 2 chests up there tend to be pretty good, or the 2 locations on top of, or inside of Spectacle Rock and at the Old Man.
And according to our tracker, Magius here, it is Desert Palace is the green pendant, Eastern Palace and Tower of Hera would be your crystals.
And
the boots!
So it would behoove Alucard to get out to Zora as quickly as possible to at least get 1 extra item from the King's Tomb.
Eunos here saving, doing the save and quit. Now, once again, he does not have the flute, which was over in the Lost Woods where the mushroom normally is. Alucard finds where the shovel is. And we'll see whether or not Eunos decides to check the Lost Woods as he gets ready to head up over to Death Mountain.
My guess is he'd probably gamble for Death Mountain first, just because the priority of the items up there in this particular version of the game. But
oh, he's going Lost Woods.
He's totally, he's like, I forgot 2 items there, I should probably get those. Which is unfortunate routing for him, in that to activate the flute, he's going to have to go back to Kakariko one more time.
So Alucard finding the shovel now is going to be heading on over to see what that gives him.
It seems like Alucard's approach to this particular game is follow the breadcrumbs. If there's a breadcrumb in front of him, go for it.
Wouldn't this be something if this is where the flippers are?
That would actually be wonderful.
But instead, it's only 20 rupees.
Okay, I think now he might check desert, at least catch the ledge. Nope. Again, I'm wrong.
I think he's going to go to Eastern Palace and Sarashala's hut because he's got the bow and silver arrows.
That is true, and we already know that it is a crystal, so we might as well finish it up. In Eastern, you generally are stuck walking by every single chest anyway, so it's good routing from that perspective.
Just couldn't you put the big key in the chest number 1 every single time, so when I'm on go mode, I just have to check that one?
I could legitimately do that if you really wanted me to. But
you're
then
not
realize,
going to.
No, realize anyone you're playing against will have that same thing.
Oh, fine. Have it your way. Bug catching that riot shield here in Sarashala's hut.
The net could prove to be a saver for later game if they end up needing some fairies for help. Although they're not terribly unhealthy at this point in the game yet. Eunos is a little low.
So Eunos, I'm guessing, is going to check the Lumberjack Cave now that he's activated the duck and find out that it is just what it looked like, 20 rupees. And yep, that is 20 rupees. So now the interesting question just turns out to be, where are the flippers?
Well, knowing how this could be, it could put them on top of the pyramid. But I have a strong suspicion that they're probably just in Eastern Palace.
Well, considering the fact that they already have the tempered sword, there is nothing in here that would prohibit them from going to Agnum this early.
That is true. And if Alucard doesn't find anything after Eastern, he may make that gamble.
And actually, I think if he doesn't find anything, the only other possibility would be Agina's Cave. Based on the logic and how you're not supposed to, that you don't need to perform any special tricks in order to beat the game.
Correct. There is, based on his items, did he do the bonk rocks, though?
I want to say yes, but I don't think so. I think he went straight for the shovel and got the 20 rupees out of it.
I think that he is, so that is one other location that if he were prioritizing, I would probably check that before going into doing Aghanim, personally.
The other big difference here is because Eunos has the Titan's Mate, he can check King's Tomb.
This is true.
But Eunos is going to follow the breadcrumbs too and check to see the shovel, and will be disappointed to find 20 rupees.
I think in this version, when you know your opponents, going after some of those won't hurt you, even if they don't pan out, mainly because you know your opponent's probably going to do it immediately too, or at some point. And given that they haven't seen much... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say obligatory big key pickup there for Alucard.
I believe that was a vanilla location too.
VTorp.
I seriously love it when things end up in their vanilla locations because the chances of that happening are so incredibly low. Just insanely low.
You would have loved the SRL race earlier where the fire rod turned out to be in the Turtle Rock Big Chest.
Okay, no, I wouldn't have loved that. That's a horrible place for the fire rod. I mean, it's an amazing place, but also horrible.
Horrible if you're playing it, amazing if you're watching it.
That I would give you, yes. Yeah, actually, the version we're watching has a potential. If Fire Rod ends up in Turtle Rock, it may not be gettable, but that has been fixed in current. Like, if you go to the website and snag this, you won't run into that issue.
Okay, Crystals 1 and 7 are in the Light World.
Oh, good. Alucard's making good use of those silver arrows he picked up, and Eunos is going to follow in his footsteps.
Yep. Here we go. 6 silver arrow. Nope, make it 7. Make it 8. Oh, the power glove!
Wow. So the game intended for you to get the power glove here and then go up to Zora from there. I think in this case, if Alucard basically goes to Zora right now, there'll be no net loss. And we're probably going to see him flute to 8 and fake flipper to go to Zora. No?
Or he's just going to go right straight to 2 and use the power glove.
Interesting. It's actually faster to fake flipper if you have the flute by like 3 screen transitions. But this moment here will put our players on exactly equal footing again. I believe they'll have checked all the same locations as soon as Alucard picks up his Titan's Mitt. And
That's
Eunos
correct.
finishes.
And that makes me more interested in seeing what's in King's Tomb.
The cross-product trademarked flanctuary items.
So while these guys are doing the same things right now, do you want to talk about some of the differences that are in the newer editions of the V8?
Sure. So we ended up finding that there was a slight bias in the way that the item filler was placing items in the world when it was placing them, such that the pyramid item, Zora, and the old man, and the cave on top of Death Mountain, and desert to some extent, were getting higher probabilities of having items that were required to continue playing the game. Great damage boost from Alucard off that bomb. When we realized that, we were going through and changing some other code, and we rewrote the way that it puts the items into the game so that it removes almost all the bias of how it's placing them. And once we did that, we also were looking into other things that we could randomize. So you'll find that the prize pack randomization has been shifted around, so all of the sprites, all of the enemies you see in the game, can now be in different prize packs, like the 7 different prize packs that can be in. All the bonk trees in the overworld have been shifted around with what's in them, so items that had bees may now have fairies, and fairies may be bees.
Wound Pearl picked up in the Dash Cave, Mushroom picked up in King's Tomb.
Wow, so Aghanim may not be required at all. Actually, Aghanim is not required at this point at all.
There's only one possible way at this point how he could be required, but it's an evil path that would require you to beat him to get the hammer path to get to, or not, skip the hammer. There's the hook shot. I was going to say to defeat him to get the easier access to the pyramid bomb.
Well, it's the, that is one way. Another way is, if they don't find a hammer or flippers, they legitimately have no way to Northeast Darkworld without killing Aghanim.
Ooh, right, yes, you're correct.
But Alucard is immediately going to go where all the chests are located. He can full clear the entirety of East Death Mountain right now.
And Eunos not switching over to silver arrows. Ooh, troll the dead rock on Alucard's end. I don't think so. You're not getting in here.
Yeah, I've actually had that happen to me before. It's so horrible. Where you're just like, really? Come on, dead rock, seriously? Alucard's going to take an interesting path through this. I don't think he's going to bomb jump across the top, which I don't know if I necessarily agree with this pathing. It's good pathing if you're not going to bomb jump, but you still have to either come back and do the spiral cave later when you could do it in a single pass otherwise.
And we find the Master Sword inside the 5 chests in that cave right there on Eastern Death Mountain. Eunos checking to see what's in Again's cave, but we know the play he needs to make is over to King's Tomb as well as over to the Dash Cave.
Luckily, he's going to run out of options relatively quickly here.
The Book of Medora. Now that's interesting.
I stand corrected.
That might force him into Desert Palace, which is the green pendant.
Yeah, and the only thing he's missing is a fire source to finish Desert Palace.
Right.
But if he finds one in there or on the ledge here...
The mirror's on the ledge.
Which he's definitely going to want, which will make his trip to Death Mountain even easier than Alucard's. Alucard has to do it in such a way that he can't get that 20 rupees up there. But he has to do it in such a way that he doesn't, he can't mirror to kind of switch between the two worlds.
Oh, come on. You can't get that 20 rupees? Darn it.
Eunos will also be able to go and do Tower of Hera on his first trip up to Death Mountain, whereas Alucard will have to come back now. Unless he finds the hammer right here.
Nope.
But also another new thing we've done is the stun prizes for enemies when you stun them with a boomerang or a hook shot and then kill them is now been randomized, as well as the crabs under bushes and rocks have now been thrown into the general item pool. So it's a lot more random. The fish that you can throw into the water. Lots of new fun things. Alucard says I don't even want to try the clip with the hook shot and going around.
You mean the fish that I throw in the water that decides that it doesn't want to give me anything?
Well, if you have too many sprites on the screen, maybe. Did you throw it in deep water?
Well, actually, what ended up happening is in the race that I did it, it hit the ledge first before it went in the water. So, thanks for hurting me, you idiot.
Didn't count it. So I think Eunos is going to try and do a mirror glitch here. Basically, get Super Bunny. By the frame you enter this, you mirror at the exact same time. It'll give you Super Bunny properties. He has it. First try.
Oh, we find out that it's Palace of Darkness and the Skull Woods are the other pendant dungeons.
The Super Bunny trick doesn't really pay off for you, though.
Okay, we get the same information. 5 and 6, though. I saw 5 was Misery Mire.
6 is Thieves Town.
Okay.
That's teamwork. Because I didn't see which one 5 was.
Hey, that's why they paired us together for this race.
Yeah, Eunos not finding much exciting stuff in the desert area. Well, the Mire desert area, but maybe there'll be... Actually, he already kind of went through desert. He's... Not much he can do here. Did he not check everything inside of desert? I thought he went through the front.
No, he just grabbed the small key and then ran over towards the ledge. So he's still got the eastern half to do.
Okay. Alucard with the Moon Pearl doesn't have to do the mirror trick, as our two runners are basically high-fiving each other across worlds. Unfortunately, Alucard does not know that the mirror is just on the ledge, because he went straight into the portal. So Alucard may be going to Kakariko, where we want him to go if he wants to continue progressing is Desert again. But the point is... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, if we want to get the second item in Desert Palace, you got to go through the Lamb Molas, because there was a compass in the big chest.
Oh. Well, Eunos equipped with his amazing mirror here. Should probably put that there. There we go.
But here's the problem. Eunos doesn't have the hook shot, nor does he have the Moon Pearl, so he cannot complete eastern half of Death Mountain. He's just going to head on over to the Tower of Hera now. And, oh, the red mail was in the chess game. So that blue mail that Eunos found, well, Alucard found something better. And I just missed that. What medallion did Alucard just find?
He found Ether Medallion.
Oh, the Cane of Samaria and the Ether tablet.
Wow. Which, the Ether Medallion is what was required for Misery Mire. Thieves Town was 6.
Yep, Thieves Town was crystal number 6.
And Misery Mire was our other one.
Yep.
And which ones did you say the pendants were? I'm just going to go ahead and...
Skull Woods and Palace of Darkness were your crystals this time around, or rather your pendants this time around. To which Eunos, you're going through the Tower of Hera, which we know is required for the second crystal of this game. Alucard going through Thieves Town, which is going to be his second crystal of the game. He might... Oh, the hammer is in Thieves Town!
That is very serendipitous for Alucard. He'll be able to check that item down in the basement. And Eunos nailing a really good bomb jump.
Oh, but gets knocked off!
Rather unfortunately.
And now with that, Aghanim is not required.
Very, very much so. There's very little that could cause our races to have to do Aghanim. But we should take a moment and think about, are there different ways that we could do the pedestal?
Right now, let's think about it. Because Skull Woods, Palace of Darkness, and Desert Palace are your pendant dungeons. Oh, Ice Rod at Muldern, which takes rid of one of our possibilities right there.
Oh, that was an easy one, too.
It was. That's the easiest possibility, too.
Actually, I think legitimately...
The only way possible. Did we see what the medallion required for Misery Mire was?
It was Ether, which Alucard already has.
What about Turtle Rock?
We have not... I don't think we saw Turtle Rock.
Alucard went there, but I didn't catch a good enough of a glimpse to see what it was.
That's fair. There is actually a possibility with where the pendants are that Fire Rod could be at the altar.
It can't. Skull Woods is a pendant.
Oh, did I miss that? Okay, for some reason I thought it was Swamp. I read the SW and thought Swamp Woods. You know, the infamous one.
Really, the only thing trollish would be if... No, it can't be, because Palace of Darkness is a pendant. I was going to say Lamp.
Yeah. No, there's probably nothing there.
Eunos about to pick up his mushroom. He already picked up the Moon Pearl. Mushroom yields the hook shot, so he'll be happy, but he will also be thinking, why couldn't I have done this before I went over to Tower of Hera? I could have full swept up everything in Death Mountain.
We haven't seen flippers. Flippers would be...
Oh, the flippers! Yes, that's still a possibility.
And that would definitely lock them from completing Swamp. These runners could get around Ice Palace. I know that both of them can absolutely do that. We've already seen Eunos fake flippers, and I know that Alucard can certainly as well.
Chad pointing out that Ether is the medallion for Turok as well. So unfortunately, no medallions are going to be in that pedestal. That's going to be required first. So Eunos now checking Eastern Death Mountain. What did Alucard find up there that was interesting? I can't remember if there was really anything that moved this game along. In fact, I don't think there was anything.
Nothing particularly interesting, no. More of a time waste. But I don't... Yeah, actually, I think the key to this is what's in the desert for Alucard and for Eunos. He needs to eventually hit Village of Outcasts to get his remaining. That's where he'll find Ether and the hammer and the remaining items.
Yep, and because that is a crystal dungeon, there's Eunos is going to find the hammer at some point in time, but he might be reluctant to go into Thieves Town immediately because of the hammer thing.
Correct.
But most people are more willing to gamble on the hammer not actually being required in that dungeon than they would actually thinking it would be.
I think I followed that. I will say yes.
I know, I'm wordy. You're not the first one to say it. You won't be the last.
Well, I hadn't said it yet. And yeah, verified.
There's the confirmation from Eunos.
But Eunos will definitely be able to get the 20 rupees that he's about to see right now, if he chooses to.
And right away, his idea is, no, I don't want those 20 rupees.
They have been hanging out on that island for a while.
Well, wouldn't you want to grab 20 bucks that's laying around on an island somewhere?
I mean, I'd take 20 bucks that's lying around anywhere, but if I have to go to an island to get it, I'm alright with that too. I like islands. Got Alucard who's gonna go check out the Tree Boy. I guess right now it's kind of, where do we think Fire Rod is? And it's unfortunate for Alucard's particular movement that he doesn't have the mirror yet. He could check a whole bunch of other places, the mirror in the book, that Eunos will be able to check when he gets a chance.
You gotta think at some point in time, Alucard will make his way over towards the desert ledge to see that there, especially considering the fact that the mirror is required this seed.
My guess is, like, looking at his item set, he doesn't have any way to really get into desert at all. So at best, in his mind, the only thing he can do is take a look at what's on that ledge and get the Agina item, which we both know is
There's
actually...
flippers. And the single arrow.
Yeah, so it's game over. He has the silver arrow.
So unfortunately, for those of you hoping for the pedestal, not in this seed.
Nope. We may still see somebody check it to read the text, but I can't imagine that it's going to be anything exciting. Probably just some money. Maybe some bombs.
Right now, the only thing that trollish would be up there would be the lamp, and both of these guys have shown that they can do dark rooms.
Right, and we already know that it can't be because of Pod.
But yet, you're right.
I agree with this play by Alucard for picking up the cape. It not only is like a great safety item, it can speed up certain animations by removing Link's sprite from the screen.
Eunos having enough of Death Mountain ends up doing the save and quit. And for him, his big option now is he's got to get on over towards the Thieves Town and the Village of Outcasts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the next progressional point for him, so that's where he's going to go.
So here's the play by Alucard that is one of those more out-of-the-way-ish type things. Going up to check Catfish is kind of a big time consumer.
And we know if Eunos doesn't really like it when Catfish says anything important, so if this is Fire Rod, game over. But it's a bottle with a bee in it.
It's especially with a bee in it. We love bees and bottles around here.
And Eunos now gets his chains of clothing, and he will make his way over to, I believe, the sea house is next for him.
I like to call it the eggplant hat.
Yes, the eggplant hat is what it's credited to in the game over credits.
Can't imagine why it reads that way.
What would the blue male be called?
The blue male should be called the banana hat, I believe.
All right, I've seen that before.
We like to name our males off of the different colors of the hat and related to fruit for some reason. So I think Alucard is going to go take out Hera right now, seeing as he doesn't have the mirror. This is the quickest way and only way for him to get there.
Here's the problem with what Alucard is doing. That now means the ether tablet's going to be a loose square for him.
Yep.
Especially since he's got the magic cape, so you know he's going to check that next after he's done with here.
Well, and that's an absolutely good play for him to do. He will get the ice rod, though.
But leaving the Canis and Mario behind is going to be, might be a time sink for him later on.
Absolutely it will. Hopefully, though, it'll jog his memory because the book and the mirror are geographically close to each other. It may kind of... He picks up the mirror and thinks, wow, I can get back up to Hera, which he won't think at all. And then he'll see the book and be like, wow, I can get the ether tablet, which probably won't happen because of the fact that the mirror won't jog his memory of Hera.
Now, here's a really bad scenario that could be playing out here. What if Alucard finds Bombos or the Fire Rod in the Spike Cave?
Then he will absolutely be taking time out to go and snag Ice Palace, which would be very unfortunate. Seeing as we don't know where Fire Rod could technically be in Ice Palace, in which case, if he got Bombos and he's searching Ice Palace and gets Fire Rod, that would be a great play. Or, yeah, that would probably be the only good play in that case. But
so let's find out what the breadsmiths have to offer Eunos here for 10 rupees.
I think they're money laundering. No, into explosives these days.
Yep, they're just going to enlargen your bomb bag. And Eunos was thinking about checking Batcave, but then realizes I don't have the hammer yet.
I sort of disagree with him not picking up the purple chest right there because he's not coming back. And if you're going to be in Light World, I think it's better off just to snag the purple chest and then flute out of here with the purple chest to go drop it off. But he might be saving it for later when he comes back through.
Yeah, it's an interesting routing decision, as we did speculate Alucard is going to check Spike Cave next.
But if this is Fire Rod, this is going to be huge for him. In a different way. Like, it might send him off into Ice Palace.
Yeah, and might also have him thinking checking Skull Woods too while he's at it. Even though that is for a pendant. For a pendant.
But it might also, given his items, push him towards desert.
Uh-oh, Bombos!
Okay, I admit, I kind of want Fire Rod to be an Ice Palace now. Kind of want that to happen.
Well, Alucard is fluting on out. Where is he going to go to next? It's time for him to head and get the engagement of the NPC to get the guard to chase after him. And he's about to get his $100 for checking the Batcave.
Yeah, it would behoove him to work his way over to desert, and I would hope that he would check desert before digging into Ice Palace.
I would really hope so too.
But he also really has to get the book from Agina. That we know is absolutely required to complete this game.
Yeah, that might be the thing that stops him from going in that direction at this moment is... But then again, we saw him head on over to Thieves Town. And now Alucard does pull up the flute. Is he going to head to Desert now? He is.
So he'll at least know where the mirror is, which is great news. Because there's no... He doesn't.
He's going to Agina now.
I mean, I guess from his perspective, he can't get into Desert, so why even bother checking the item on the ledge? But this is good. He at least has the book.
Or he's about to.
And Eunos, I'm pretty sure, picked up the hammer. Because he's in Thieves Town.
Yeah, he had to.
It would be awfully weird if he did. So we'll just...
And Alucard picks up the book here, and he will likely now head on over to the Desert Palace with that, since he's in the area.
He wants to give some cactuses some hugs first, though.
And there he checks the ledge, sees the mirror, so now he knows what he needs to do here. The only question when it comes to Alucard is when will he get back up to Death Mountain to check the Ether tablet?
I think it's going to be a little while before that happens.
Unfortunately, I think so too, just because of the fact that now it's a loose square.
It's a loose square. It's also, he has things he can do that have more dense item locations. Like, he'll probably clear all of Swamp Palace before he goes back up to check the Ether tablet, would be my guess.
And Alucard, while he is here, going to scope out and see what the items here in Desert Palace are, which is not a bad play. Unfortunately, we know it's not going to yield anything important to him because he's going to find the blue mail, which he does not need, and nothing else.
Well, I mean, the shiny map and compass. Those things are really cool, I think.
And right now, Alucard is in the same situation that Eunos is, where they cannot finish off the Desert Palace because they don't have a fire source like that lamp or the fire rod.
Mm-hmm. The mirror is going to open up a lot of locations for Alucard to check right off the bat. Eunos has already checked most of those, I think. At least he's checked a few of them, mainly on Death Mountain. But I think he hasn't done Circle of Bushes yet, has he?
He did the Circle of Bushes cave. He checked the Haunted Grove, but never made it over to the Light Road Hype. Or the Dark Road Hype.
And Alucard has done it.
And that is right there is an advantage here for Alucard because of the fact that he does have the flippers at this moment, which opens up the Swamp Palace.
Okay, Alucard had an idea, went straight to Kakariko, and then decided, I'm going the wrong direction.
And then I'm going to go back to Kakariko.
I think he's beelining it for the breadsmiths.
It also would be an interesting idea for him to check to see what's at the bumper cave, because we didn't see that in Eunos' end either.
True. Doing the northern sweep, and that's what Alucard's going for. And Eunos is going to dip into Skull Woods. I think that's a fine play. You can check a few chests. He has the red cane, which makes checking one of the chests a lot easier.
The Cane of Burna, the item on the ledge.
I'm guessing both runners will be taking a pass on that item. Wow. Well, we know where Fire Rod is.
inside a pendant dungeon.
Oh, yeah. Inside a dungeon that it was meant to be inside of.
Which means Eunos is now one item away from go mode.
He most certainly is. At 50 minutes in, and we know where the flippers are. I honestly forget where they are, but we know that Alucard knows where they are.
Light World Hype Cave. And who needs flippers? Let's just go ahead and fake flipper our way to Ice Palace.
An interesting play.
And Eunos is going to be able to do this as if he's on go mode because he knows that the flippers can't be in here.
Exactly. It's a really interesting play. It's just go ahead and clear it out and be done with it. Alucard, unfortunately, needing 2 majors, Fire Rod and Gate of Samaria.
And now Alucard's about to pick up his additional bomb capacity because that's what everyone wants for their 10 rupees.
Well, I mean, that's actually an amazing price. I believe to get them normally it costs at least 40. 20 or something. It's something silly where you just have to keep maybe 80 rupees. You just have to keep throwing them in.
I think it's 100.
Is it 100? On it, you can tell that I very seldom ever do that or have ever done that.
I used to, but then I realized, why do I need extra bombs for?
Yeah, I think you were 101%ing the game.
Me and my 101%.
Eunos having a lot of trouble getting through the moving spike room floor.
Yeah, he's down to 2 hearts, which gives him little room to work with if he messes up on this bomb jump, which he's got it perfectly paired up.
Yeah, he was lined up, but that could have been... If he didn't get it that first try, he'd either need a potion or go back and do something.
So what scary is Lunchbox going to have today?
I'm going to go with Pizza Hut.
I could go for a Pizza Hut right now.
Good too. Actually, there's a late night slice place around here that I can hit up after. They have a... Oh, go ahead.
I'm immediately jealous of VTorp right now.
Are you a man of hot foods? Like spicy?
Not really.
Not really? Okay. They also have other things. They have a few interesting things. They work with some other local businesses that like do hot chicken on a pizza. It's amazing. Anyhow.
Nothing like coming to a Twitch stream and hearing people talk about food.
Well, we're talking about Pizza Hearts, really. Bombo's tablet having bombs. Fitting.
Very much so. So, once again, the big difference here, Eunos is blazing here through the Ice Palace, which, again, he knows he can do this as if he's on go mode because the flippers cannot be in here.
Alucard's going to go ahead and dig through, probably do a full clear of Swamp Palace.
Which, unfortunately for him, is going to lead to time loss.
Yes, this is going to be a huge time loss for him. Realistically, what he needs to be doing is getting up to Death Mountain and getting over to Skull Woods. I don't fault him for his play. It's actually what I think, given his position, the absolute right play to do.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that Alucard, one of the more important items that he's missing is a loose square on the map.
Yep.
And the other one is a gamble that Eunos decided to make by going into Skull Woods. And Eunos is maybe about a minute away from go mode because we know where he's going to go right after heading into this portal.
Yep. He's going to go straight to the Bombo's tablet. I'm just kidding. He's not.
Well, maybe he is. He's thinking about it. Did I just do the right move here? He is gonna check the Babos tablet. Or no, he's gonna now check the Light World Hype Cave after that dive didn't work his way. Okay, here we go.
You remember that he doesn't have flippers, I think, right there. He's been fake flippering the whole time.
So let's see. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go mode activated.
Well, only after he got the arrow, really. Because you know it's not go mode without the single arrow.
You're right, the validation arrow.
That arrow, honestly, I thought it was a joke because I joined on development of Randomizer when it right after version 6, and I was like, did somebody do this? And then I went through the game in vanilla and like actually opened every chest and went to every location and found it, and I'm like, nope, they really put this in the game. I have no idea why.
Where was it in the vanilla game?
It is in the Palace of Darkness, in the rupee the rupee area underground, on the left-hand side. The right-hand side holds the key.
Like they thought you were so desperate for arrows when you went up against the mimics?
I don't know, because those rooms have enough arrows to kill the mimics as well. It's just a weird single arrow that's hanging out down there.
Yeah, it's so weird. Put out out of place, and it's the only single arrow in the game. I do want to remind people that what you're seeing on Eunos' end is a chroma key effect. That is why you're seeing the transparent image. It is an interesting aspect here with Eunos here. He has a chroma key that's worked down here with the color blue that allows for that see-through of the winged fish. Now, here's the difference here between what we see on Eunos' end on Go mode and Alucard, who is still searching for items here as he's going through the entire Swamp Palace.
Right. So Eunos will be done with the palace before Alucard and entered well after him.
He's already on his way over to Argus. And there really, at this point, is no item. Actually, I take that back. There might be one item that would actually play into Alucard's favor at this point, and it would have to be the lamp.
It would assist... Actually, it would make Misery Mire a lot easier to deal with. But, again, our runners... I'm sure both of them can do the Dark Room there, and they have an awful lot of health and help and extra items. So I don't think it would trip up Eunos too terribly long to have to do that one in the dark.
Yeah, and I know Eunos has done Dark Rooms in the past, so this isn't anything difficult for him.
Lope Monkey, no one has actually... Wait. I misread that. You said, what's the purpose? I thought you said, what's on the pedestal? No one has checked. We'll never know. Never.
Yeah, the question pertains to Eunos' chroma key transparent layer that's being seen. And we find nothing of interest here in the Swamp Palace. Now, wouldn't it be something if Argus drops the lamp right here?
It's entirely possible. Given that our runners have not had to enter any dark rooms yet, it can be anywhere they can actively get to.
And lamp is one of those kind of things where you don't have to go through... It's guaranteed to be in a spot where you don't need to go through a dark room to get to. So it's never going to be in Ganon's Tower, unless you get that one rare seed that... Oh, by the way, Palace of Darkness, Misery Mire, and Turtle Rock are all your Penta dungeons.
Absolutely. Alucard doing a great job with the slash strats on the puffs from Argus. Eunos is just tearing through these places.
And we let that traffic sink in. It's always interesting when we get the traffic into our races here. I mean, I do remember one of the races that the commentator had the ice cream man going by.
Unfortunately, the room I'm in is right up next to, like, the window is really close by, and we have a fire station down the street. So luckily, we haven't had any sirens. But I'll certainly mute when one of those comes by.
If we do hear sirens going by, then please don't be alarmed. None of us are in trouble.
Well, anyhow.
Eunos taking care of what he needs to here in Misery Mire, and Alucard picking up 20 rupees for some reason.
I think he was taking a gamble and he forgot, because maybe he hasn't swum by that. Now he's doing... Yeah.
I actually don't think he checked.
Yeah. So he was just doing the I'm here, I can pick up whatever it happens to be on my way over to the hobo. We can only hope that he, basically, his next two moves are back up to Death Mountain and then over to Skull Woods. Or else he might end up inside of Ice Palace.
And Ice Palace searching for all the chests is not a fun trip.
I have a feeling that's where he's headed, though.
The way he's swimming, yes. We'll just say I get jealous when I see a runner go into go mode at the sub 1 hour mark.
Oh, well, I mean, if you want, I can generate a game for you that would let you do that about there.
I'd find some way to butcher it.
Get out of escape and you have every major item to beat the game.
I'd still find some way to butcher it.
Put the Triforce in Link's house.
I'd still find some way to butcher it.
So Alucard with the quarter magic and Bombo says, I'm just going to kill all the things everywhere.
And say goodbye to Eunos for a few moments here.
No, it looks right. I only know this because I was recently doing Christos Owen's Kaizo, where you walk into that room with a lot less stuff and have to do it in the dark.
Eunos having some problems getting the block on the switch. Finally does it. He's out of room 1.
Luckily, he has plenty of health to get through room 3, which has a spike trap moving back and forth in it. So you can watch his health go down a little bit when he passes past that.
Yep, he's already at the corner. Gets the block where he needs to, and he's up to room number 4.
He's doing some really good navigation of this.
There he goes, room number 4. And he does remember that he has silver arrows because he just switched over.
Misses the first shot.
And missed the second shot too. Finally gets it on hit number 3. And he's out of the dark rooms and back into light.
I think he's just going to go straight in and kill Vitreous with the silver arrows and not even bother to powder up. Seems good.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. Yeah, he's got this. 2 silver arrows, that's it. Vitreous done. Goodbye. Thanks for playing. Have a red rupee with our compliments in the home game.
We got Alucard continuing through Palace of Darkness, and either he hit the transition wrong or he's deciding.
Guess he didn't want to forget that chest on the way back through.
If you're only looking for one item, I agree with that. Check every chest as you come across them. But he's actually looking for 2 items at this point.
And he hasn't found anything of interest here in this dungeon, which we know does not have either of the items that he is seeking.
Nope, the only item that could have that would be helpful would be the lamp. That's the lamp.
Oh, I see what he's doing now. He's backing, and he's going to do this all over again.
He might... Did he not bomb jump the first time?
I really wasn't paying attention. I was looking at Eunos in his dark rooms.
Yeah. I think he's going to bomb jump this time so he doesn't have to go down, hit the switch, and go all the way around the second time. This dungeon is incredibly long the vanilla way, if you do the path that he's taking. It actually is 3 times around the dungeon, in a way.
Yeah, this is an annoying dungeon if you play this the developer intended way.
Annoying but beautiful. It's one of the most beautifully designed dungeons. The second hardest to randomize the items and make it completable.
Which one's the hardest?
Palace of Darkness.
Why is that?
The number of keys, the number of different ways you can use key. There are 6 keys in that dungeon alone. I think Alucard is high on his pixel. He needs to go right there.
I think he's good, yep.
But yeah, it's the number of keys and the number of different endings in the dungeon with where you can hit a key. Like if it's linear keys, it's not so much of a problem. Like this door, this door, this door, and the keys are in between, or it can all be front-loaded. Turtle Rock is a dungeon like this where you need 3 keys before you can go downstairs, kind of available to you. Palace of Darkness, you technically only need 2 or 3 keys before you get to the bridge, but people can use keys in the most unexpected ways, as we've found out over multiple iterations. Hence why the logic number is up to 21 right now, because of that dungeon alone.
All because the different varieties have led to unwinnable seeds.
Absolutely. I'm not sure what Alucard's doing right now.
He's got that one last chest he's got to check.
Oh.
One that requires you to take the secondary long way around.
Oh, yes. We have in the logic group, when we go over this, we have a special name for this chest, and I'm not allowed to say it because this is a family-friendly race here. But let's just say that this chest here that Alucard's heading to now is not thought of very kindly.
Ah, good. So it's the beep chest.
Basically.
And that's the lamp.
It's going to be very helpful for him, but it's not the best. That might actually send him into Desert Palace, unfortunately. Because it's something that can light torches.
Well, that's an interesting spot for that to be.
A little bit of warmth in there if you stay in there too long. The fire rod is in Skull Woods, where it belongs.
Yep, we found Fire Rod in Skull Woods. The other item that Alucard is missing is the Canis of Mario, which we know was in the Ether Tablet.
So I don't think Eunos is going to gamble and not get the big chest in Turtle Rock. There is a small chance that it has a small key. In previous versions... Huh?
I was going to say, the only way you'd want to gamble on it is if you have 2 keys at this point.
Right. Well, then you wouldn't be gambling at all.
Were you about to say about the previous versions?
Oh, previous versions did not actually let small keys be in big chests. So that could definitely throw some people off if they're used to running older versions. But since V7, I believe, it's been allowed to have small keys and big chests. So Alucard's an hour and 10 minutes in, has 4 crystals, maybe feeling good, maybe not feeling good. It's kind of hard to say at this point, because an hour and 10 minutes and only having 4 crystals, oh, that's a rough place to be thinking, especially with the general speed of the races of these runners.
Well, he knows the competitor that Eunos is, and for that reason and that reason alone, he's got to be feeling kind of sick at this point in time, figuring out where this fire rod could be.
He's taking a gamble. He's going into misery. Nope, he's
backdooring the desert.
It's the fire made him think that he should go and check Desert Palace Landmo. Not a terrible play. Desert Palace is also the green pendant, so it's doing this for 2 items.
Eunos is having a little bit of an issue here with this dark room. It's the last dark room he has to deal with in Turtle Rock.
Admittedly, I think this dark room is the hardest for me. He was on the right track. No idea where he is right now.
He's very close to the top of the room, as he just stepped off the platform on the very top.
On the top left?
Yep. He's just been going around in circles.
So he hasn't hit the switch yet?
Nope, not at all. I think he's trying to find the path to get to the switch, and I think this is what his pause menu right now is. He's pulling up a map to get some reference.
He's fine if he keeps pressing down right now. Okay.
He's got it.
And then this one is pretty easy to get. He'll be fine. The only thing he has to watch out for is this last portion. As soon as he starts moving downward, to aim down, or else you walk right to off the platform to the left and end up in the top of the room.
And that would make you feel sick after doing all that.
Alucard deciding to go with Ice Rod strats. I love it. If you didn't know, the Ice Rod does the exact same amount of damage that the Fire Rod does to Landmo. It's just a lot harder to time.
You don't see this that much. And for his reward, it's 20 rupees. All right, guys, what do you think Sarashala's going to have?
20 rupees.
Oh, goodness. We haven't seen a lot of 20 rupees in this game. That only would make sense at this point.
So Eunos had a weird thing where he quickly turned at the last second with his Ice Rod shot, and it shot off to the right, but it looked like he was aiming downward.
And Eunos having to use a little bit of his potion, and Alucard looks like he's going to the Palace of Darkness, but he's probably going to text Sarashala on his way to the Palace of Darkness.
Oh, absolutely. He's going to make that a pathing decision. The thing is, he's entering every pendant dungeon except for the one he needs to go in, which is rather unfortunate. We hope that he gets there, but he'll probably full clear pod first.
And at this point, there's nothing that he can find that would give him any sort of advantage in this race. Oh, the Butter Sword Trump from Trinex.
You know, the funny thing is, I was just about to say the Butter Sword. Oh, it was 20 rupees from Sarasala. I was like, you know, the Butter Sword would be something that would maybe... It wouldn't give him enough of an edge at this point, but it would definitely be nice to have. And it looks like he's going to get it on his path.
And Alucard ended up picking up money from Sarashala.
See a little frustration on his movement when he was picking up Kiki.
So, heading on over to Ganon's Tower. You know what time it is, guys. It's time to pick a number between 1 and 22 to represent the 22 possible chests plus the torch item, where the big key could be. Where do you think it's going to be? Vitor.
Oh, well, I usually hope for all of our runners' sake that it's in the second chest, but for today I'll say the second chest.
I think we'll give Eunos a little bit of a challenge. Chest number 7.
7's a good one. That's in the room north of the gaps.
Or probably not, because he's not going right side to get the first 2 chests.
Some bombs. I guess we're going to have our favorite fairy friend.
And if we get to chest number 12, we can do the high bob.
I still think it's worthwhile checking those first two chests on the right-hand side.
I agree. It doesn't take that long.
Well, this dungeon genuinely has an equal chance of the big key being anywhere downstairs. The big key is placed before anything else, and it's placed with all the locations considered equal.
Oh, he's doing the Dark Magician idea here. He checked the first 4 on the left-hand side. Now he's going to the right side.
With 4 small keys in hand, it's not a bad option. I lost count of which location we're on, mainly because this is all... It's 7. He just passed number 7, I think.
Yes, that would be number 7.
Alucard working his way through the Palace of Darkness. He's going to get to check 2 more things right here.
And neither of them are going to be what he needs to find at this point in time, as Eunos gets ready to have 4 possibilities. Well, that's if his Cancer Mario block wants to work the way he wants it to. It's not. So chest number 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. No.
Now, I certainly agree that if you're going to go this way, you might as well finish the entire path.
Eunos has proven you wrong.
I guess he has. Alucard gonna go ahead and try dashing around the red garden. That edge is really weird in this game, where you can walk off of it. Like, it doesn't hop you onto the next area for some reason, if you line up improperly on it.
So the next chest we're going to be checking is number 12, for the sake of argument here. Bombs in chest number 12. Eunos is going to have my counting all wrong. Like, Eunos knows we're all guessing based on Bob being 14 and is just saying, nope, 14 ain't going to be Bob this time around.
Alucard picks up the big key in Palace of Darkness, so he can check every single place in here. I wonder if he's going to kill Helmazor King.
It's quite a possibility. Hopefully, he would keep track of his items.
He would know after he gets the big chest here if it's worth going for Helmazor King. We'll see when he menus, because I think he has to menu to throw a bomb here in a second. Wow, I think he's gotten all the items in here.
Oh, still a map, still in play. So there's 2 places left, so 1 item left.
We just don't want this to be the map.
Oh, Eunos found the big key, by the way.
Alucard is going to go kill Helmazor King.
So chest number 14, if you pick chest number 14.
Isn't that Bob?
No, unfortunately not. Because Eunos is odd routing. Turned out to be in the randomizer room.
Why do we call that the randomizer room?
Because it's the only room that you ever see. I mean, it's the only room that you come across in randomizer that you don't come across in any other run, I guess. I don't know.
I could see that. There's nothing in there in the vanilla game. Like, I think there's arrows and a bomb, maybe like an arrow. I don't know, 20 rupees. I think they were running out of ideas as they were getting closer to the end of, like, placing items.
And we need 4 more chests in here. Bob, what do you got? Let's just put arrows in there. That should be fine.
No one needs arrows.
They ain't gonna need arrows for the rest of this run.
I think Eunos' stream has maybe gone down for a second.
Yeah, his is frozen as he had already passed the mimic room. We'll see where he catches up in just a moment. There we go. He's now
End of Gauntlet. We'll catch
We're
him
just
on
going to
the-
stay frozen on him for the next 15 seconds so his timer catches up to what is Alucards. Just a reminder, this is only game number 1 of 3 for these guys. Game number 2 is going to be Sunday at 12 noon Eastern.
Well, I definitely hope, if this is the pathing, Alucard will probably go to Skullwoods next. And I hope with Style and Gusto, he just blind pulls the the pedestal item.
To which we were probably going to find is pocket change.
It's possible. It's possible. Can't imagine what Helmstar King is going to have for him. It is
20 bucks.
By the way, to anyone playing the drinking game for Randomizer, drink.
So what's the rules of this drinking game of yours?
The drinking game is every time you get 20 rupees, you drink. It's really simple rules. The game is just full of 20 rupees. I guess you could have other versions of the game with different rule sets and different things, like every time you have to enter a pendant dungeon would be funny. I've only ever heard the version that has the 20 rupees.
Alucard now getting ready to go into Skullwoods. It's the only step for him now.
At least on a brighter side, he can't go into Turtle Rock, and having the Fire Rod isn't going to get him into Misery Mire. Like, he might go into Misery Mire next, but he won't be able to finish it, and he definitely can't get into Turtle Rock. So he's still making progress.
But by the time Alucard ends up picking up the items he needs for Go Mode, it might be too late, because Eunos is now done with Boulder 2, does not check the chest. We move along. We get ready for the onslaught of that 2-letter phrase that people put in chat, and we're going to just go ahead and talk about the braziers and the grill and chills and other things you can pick up at a Dairy Queen.
And I'm pretty sure Alucard already has Swamp Palace completed, right? Because he full cleared it. Drinking game rule 1, drink. It's funny.
Eunos done with the Ganon 2.
And Alucard, without the red cane, has to push the statue into place.
Slow mover, adds time. Add.
So this particular Ganon text is a nod to Zelda 2. The actual Zelda 2 like canon starts off talking about Impa looking at your hand or Link's hand and seeing the Triforce and determining that he's the person who's going to bring Zelda back from her sleep.
We're going to get a pedestal check here coming up, or we're going to get a skull and eventually maybe a pedestal check, but I don't think it's going to come before Eunos finishes off this game, as he's now on stage 3 of Ganon. So how did you come up with some of these texts for Ganon?
Well, so of the first one was when we had first implemented the text box. I was on call with Christos Owen, and I'm like, I gotta put something in here.
And Eunos is done.
Yes, he is. Got the Ganon kill. So that's where the Weetabix one came from. And then there were two more that you'll see in this race, and they were kind of nods to other Zelda games.
1:24:49 is the final time here for Eunos as Alucard ends up knocking out Mothlet, find the map. So Eunos takes game one of this best of 3 series.
Certainly does. It's a crazy, like, if you missed one item, you kind of got stuck. So Alucard goes back in. He's definitely gonna go keep doing this. I hope. I guess he has Skull Woods beat, so we can. I think he's going for the full clear on his tracker.
And there's those fire sirens that you were talking about earlier.
Absolutely.
And let's see what's in the pedestal this time around.
I'm expecting a blind pull. He doesn't.
It is a blind pull. Here we go, guys. And we find it is 3 bombs.
Beautiful. I respect the blind pull.
The 3 bombs that will get him so far in this run.
Well, I think he knew, because Alucard has seen the dot done, that it can't be in the pedestal because the amount of time it would take to clear the dungeons was exactly how much time it took him. And there was no possible way that it would have been nice if it was the Cane of Samaria. Totally doable, but alas, it was not. Just hope that he doesn't end up heading into Misery Mire.
Well, let's see what's in this big chest coming up for Alucard. ₹5. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome into the discussion with us the winner of Game 1 of this Best of 3 series, Eunos.
Hi.
Congratulations, Eunos.
Thank you.
So go ahead.
Tell us about this victory here. Were you expecting this?
I don't. The longer the race went on, the closer it got to the end, I thought, well, I think that he probably isn't ahead of me anymore. But for a while, I thought for sure that there's a possibility that he could be having a really insanely fast seed because everything was kind of, from my point of view, it was all free. But I mean, you know how it is.
Well, certainly, I think the early game, Alucard definitely had some plays that put him ahead, but then a large portion was a miss on you going to desert earlier than he did and getting the mirror and the book. The book was what really kind of set this run apart.
Right, and that was the only thing that I thought I had in my favor. Then I tried to think about what's going right. I'm like, the book's location is terrible, so maybe it's that.
Yeah, there's 2 differences that were in your run here. Alucard just picked up one of the 2 required items that he was missing, that being the fire rod, which was in Skull Woods, and the other, which he has yet to pick up, the Cane of Samaria.
Right, and that goes back to the book, kind of, I guess. I don't know if you could even... Where was the hammer? Could you... Oh, the hammer was in Thieves.
It was in Thieves Town.
So...
Guys, get your bird toss emotes in.
He carries it in.
Yep.
Yeah, the way that Alucard ended up routing this is that he went back up to Death Mountain when he got the hammer, went to Tower of Hera through that way, and because he checked Spike Cave on his way out of Death Mountain, he left behind the Ether tablet, and that's a loose square for him now.
Yeah. Yeah, when I loaded the stream right away to see what had gone wrong for him, and I saw that he was missing Samaria, and that was just like, oh,
He actually
that
also
works.
routed every pendant dungeon before Skullwoods. Skullwoods was the last pendant.
Yeah, when I hit Skullwoods, my intention was only to check the front half and then go see what was happening with Bumper Cave and Graveyard Cliff,
Mm-hmm.
and to turn and get the fire rod in the very first chest. And I was just like, really? Okay, all right.
Yeah, because it was basically just down to the flippers at the end for you.
Could you sense my frustration with the location of the flute, considering the early game route I had?
Actually, that was the more interesting bit. Was so Alucard went the standard route and basically got the things that you're looking for when you take the alternate route. He got the flute, he got a bottle, and you went your route. Did you get a bottle on that route? I don't even think you got a bottle. So
No.
there were 2 in Kakariko, and it was just like the payoff was not there. However, you did do the fake flipper to Zora because you had all the cash,
Right.
and that immediately kind of paid off. But it actually didn't do anything until after, until much later, because
Right.
gold gloves are great, but they don't actually do anything until you have, say, the Moon Pearl.
Yeah. I was like, oh, cool. Well, we knocked that out, but I'm not anywhere further. I don't feel like I got ahead on that.
It ended up, I think, because you guys basically synced up. I think Alucard might have been the slightest bit ahead at that point due to, like, he was doing Zora, getting that right when you were finishing up Eastern, and he had already done that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was certainly a good game. I mean, did you feel like overall that your routing was good? Were there any points where you thought this is a really big chance, I'm taking a big risk, or did it feel like just everywhere was the right move, except
I didn't think it was a hard one to route. Given the outcome, like, I didn't need to going to Skull Woods was part of a route, and like that one probably paid off a bit, but otherwise it didn't like require you to go into Palace of Darkness, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't, besides, like, so all I needed was the flippers to get to the end, and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna do ice now because I know that I can skip everything, unless of course it's the Bumper Cave item where the flippers were, but it wasn't.
Actually, Rick had totally called that out, the excellent routing decision of, if the only item you need left is flippers and you have to beat ice, you can play ice like it's nobody's business.
Yeah. That was it didn't have the feel of a version 18 logic for the most part. At least not the speed of it, Clearly it was still take your new items and go look for stuff, but not so much like...
Yeah, I think only one of the fetch quests paid off and the other one did not.
Yeah, the ice rod was where?
Ice rod was
Moldorm or something?
Moldorm was a boss like along your way.
Right.
There were actually a lot of good things along the path where.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alucard piecing out of Misery Mire now, realizing that that's not where the cane is.
Oh.
He's really. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say he really only has one option left, and that is the Ether Tablet, and he's gonna probably be bonking his head against the wall once he realizes it.
When he's looking at the map,
he's heading up there.
He is most certainly headed in that direction. There isn't much he's left behind.
Yep, that's where he's heading. He's about to achieve go mode. Although be at 9 minutes after Eunos has finished.
I will say there is so when you're staring at options between going into a dungeon and doing the overworld, if the item's in the dungeon, you're like, okay, I got it, great. But if it's in the overworld and you went into the dungeon, have to leave and then come back, that feels so much more worse.
Here it comes. Lift the sword up in the air. Get the Cane of Samaria, and he forfeits.
He got all the items, so that's the important bit. Let's see if
and we'll see if Alucard wants to come on in and talk about it.
It's rather unfortunate that it was a routing choice. Actually, it was. I mean, I agree with his routing through the entire run, but if he would have had the book when he was by there, he would have totally gotten that.
Got him!
Hey, Alucard.
Found it!
Yes, you did. Blind pull on the pedestal.
Yeah! Oh, I don't know. I just did it.
So how do you what are your thoughts on this particular run?
I mean, I don't think I necessarily think I did anything wrong until I started going to pendant dungeons. Honestly, I thought I was doing fine and my routing was good.
Alucard.
But
Yes, you
yeah,
Blind pull
coming up
on
to Hera
on the pedestal.
without the book, not so good. You know, book in Agnes Cave and mirror in desert was an eye opener. I was like,
so
I'm starting to feel behind now.
What are your thoughts on this particular run?
That was the point where I was like, well, that's gonna kill me maybe.
Although you definitely did have the early lead, all the way up to about the point where you both had the mitts. Well, where you both were finishing Eastern and having the mitts, because that was a good level point between the two players. You were ahead at that point, and then it was just a few with Eunos heading down towards desert and seeing the. I think he ended up getting the book and then going towards desert, seeing the mirror, picking that up. You were pretty much already clearing out Death Mountain at that point, and it was good plays on both sides. But when he was able to go up there, he was able to basically snag that Canis Samaria, which left him with just like 1 or 2 items to search from there on out.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So big plans for you have a race on Sunday, I hear?
We do. We're not exactly sure of the timing, tentatively scheduled for noon Eastern. That's probably what it's going to be, but we'll see. That's what it's on the calendar for, but we may have to shift it.
What lessons will you take out of this race and apply it to game number 2?
I don't know. I feel like I still made some good decisions early on, and I had Agnes Cave in the back of my mind, but I forgot about Ether Tablet, like completely forgot. So definitely going to try to remember those out-of-the-way locations that are... You know, like that I skip after doing an area. You know, that was the big thing that got me. Is just, I don't know. It was that I was thinking about going into Skull Woods before doing any other pendant dungeons. Might be worth dipping in there early on because it's a quick check. Like I was thinking about doing it right when I got to the Dark World, but I was like, man, this is feeling like I can make a lot of progress here, so why don't we just do it? I went into Thieves, I found Hammer, I was like, wow, okay. Things are paying off great. Then, towards the end, things started tapering off. Probably won't YOLO for the blind pedestal pull in the future, though. Probably go read it first.
Yeah, how did that feel picking up the 3 bombs off there?
Oh, I mean, it was fine. Like it was like I was thinking about where these last few items could be, and I really thought only pendant dungeons were in play for me. So like I kind of just did it in an order that I felt made sense for getting the Master Sword pedestal without having to check it. That was kind of my logic, is like I'll just do these few dungeons. I went to Desert first, got green pendant, so I could deliver it to Sahasrara on the way to Pod.
No, routing wise, that's actually really smart. I would have also gone with that, ordering the Sahasrara one's good, and then Pod second because it has a lot of items. If the items you're looking for are in there, that makes that a lot more profitable. So I definitely could see that being before the 2 items you get out of Skull Woods.
You know, if you don't need the bombs, I know of at least 2 Link to the Past randomizer runners who could use them.
Oh yeah.
Nah, man, those are near and dear to my heart.
You're not
I'm
gonna
keeping
drop
those.
them on the tablet?
Yeah, they have a lot of sentimental value.
If only you could let them carry over to game 2 so you don't have to worry about the escape.
Yeah, there you go.
We
It was a
can
good
make-
seed, though. It was a really fast seed. Clearly, Eunos, man, GG, you had an awesome time.
Yeah, thanks. It didn't feel like an 18 logic seed when I pulled the cane from the ether tablet. It's like, oh man, this is getting too easy.
Yeah, the one thing I would definitely want to ask is, you brought it up a few moments ago, Alucard, is how about that location of the book with Agina, but also how about the location of the fire rod in Skull Woods?
Right, vanilla locations, effectively. I mean, like, it dissuades you from going to those places if you don't have the item that you need to full clear it. But definitely paid off to jump in there this time. It was like, the first chest, I was like, oh god. Well, I think that's an easy check for some people, and maybe not others, self-included.
Most certainly. So I think, just checking this out, the Donkey Kong Country is coming up next on this channel, as well as after that, more Link to the Past. We have another race, Steve.
Yeah, that's correct. The OK guy going up against New Life in the first game of their 3-game best of 3 series. There is another race going on right now as we speak over on Speed Gaming 2 that is between F. Coughlin and N4H. But once again, as you just mentioned, Donkey Kong Country coming up right next here on this channel. These two will be going up in their next run Sunday, 12 noon Eastern, or approximately around there.
They're still figuring it out. Thank you, Alucard. Thank you, Eunos. Everyone that's listening and watching, follow these guys. They are great runners. They're having fun. They're trying to kick some Aria blocks. But they're definitely... Follow them. Go hang out in their channel. They're great to hang out with. And follow Rick, my co-commentator for this race. A wonderful person as well.
And definitely follow VTorp. It's been plenty of fun working with you this evening.
Yeah, thank you guys for commentating. Really appreciate you guys helping us out, I guess, and guiding us through this. As painful as it was for me.
You'll do better this next time. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, the point is to have fun. I was having fun.
I love the blind pull off of the pedestal. That was wonderful.
Yeah, it's every now and then we do see a blind pull on the pedestal. What somebody just pointed out in chat, Proto Potato, coming up on Sunday. This is on Speed Gaming, this channel, at 1 o'clock Eastern is the Super Nintendo SNES Super 16. That should be a lot of fun.
A lot of words with S's in them. All right, guys.
No, that's going to be awesome. I'm excited for that.
I'm going to have to look forward to seeing it then. Anyhow, it's been wonderful. I've been VTorp the whole time and will continue to be that after this. Thank you. And Rick?
Thank you very much. Be sure to follow both of these runners, Eunos and Alucard2004. Follow myself, follow VTorp, and especially thank Feasel for letting us be here on Speed Gaming. Up next, Donkey Kong Country. Good night, guys.
Good night.